Happy Friday. Let me just wipe that. I'm on my phone and my mom just called and she thinks my sister-in-law has COVID, so I just hung up, which is why I'm like 4 or 5 minutes late for free coaching, which today is Friday and I'm back for free coaching. Hello! If you are brand new to this group, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. If you've been here for a while, thanks for tuning in, catching the replay. If you're watching the replay, do me a favor and type #replay. This is Free Coaching Friday, which means nothing is off limits. You can ask me anything. We can talk about anything, and I'm going to give you my best advice, or I'm going to ask you questions, and it's so much fun. And so just like drop it in the comments, and I'll answer you for 1 hour. That being said, I've never not answered questions if there are outstanding questions. I'm usually just like, please don't ask any more questions. I'm going to keep going through these, but if you ask a question after the fact in the comments, I will type you a response. Awesome. Okay, so how is everybody? Hi, Yolanda. How are you, babe? So here we are. We're Free Coaching Friday. We're doing this. I had a question come into my DMs, but I wanted to share a little story first because I noticed that there was like a thread in another female entrepreneur group, and it was just like blowing up about business coaches. Please do not mind my no makeup face. I was just like, I'm not wearing makeup. Like, I have my pajama pants on. Free Coaching Fridays, very casual style. And they were talking about like business coaches and how a lot of people in this industry, business coaching industry, like don't belong. A lot of people in life coaching industry, one woman was like, if you are not 65 and you have like adult children and a successful marriage, but for some reason you had to have financial hardship in her mind, then you were not qualified to be a life coach. And so it was just this like huge like kind of debate back and forth. And some of this stuff really does give the coaching industry a bad name. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about why I became a business coach. I think a lot of people thought that I would become a life coach because like I've got my beautiful family, but we definitely had some hardships, and I dealt with like anxiety and depression at a super young age. I was like 11 when I was diagnosed with like anxiety and panic attacks. I would get panic attacks where I couldn't catch my breath, and that was like my physical trigger. I had no idea what was wrong. I remember my mom taking me to the doctor and being like, she's struggling to breathe, and then he was like, oh, you have anxiety. And I still get like that sometimes. And then I got depressed, and I was like 11, 12 years old, contemplating suicide. And so knowing that about me, and then knowing that, you know, 2 years ago, my daughter died. I was 18 weeks pregnant with her, and I was just at like a routine checkup, and we found out that she had passed away, and then I had to be induced and deliver her. Like, yeah, it does kind of sound like, whew, girl, this is life shit. You should be a life coach. But the reason that I went into business coaching is because business coaching women is my passion. And I do have a background in it. For a long time, I was a stockbroker. I did investments for people for 7 years. I had over 150 families that I was taking care of. So like not individual people, but like husband and wife would be considered like a household. Sometimes there'd be like older parents with like an adult child living with them. And so that would have been 3 people in one household. So there was probably around 400 individual clients, and then they would all have multiple accounts that I was managing. I was managing $22 million in assets as an entrepreneur, as a woman. But the reason that I wanted to go into business was not because of finances, and it was not because of like, you know, managing a fairly large investment book. The reason that I really got into business coaching was because every time I would go to a meeting, I would be the only woman. I would be the youngest person by decades. I got into the industry because of my father. we were business partners for the years that I did it. He really wanted me to take over his business. And so I was never taken seriously. I remember when I first started dyeing my hair, the first time I really started dyeing my hair not blonde, I went like silver fox, like gray. And I remember my dad being kind of like, ooh, people aren't going to like that. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Because I've always been that kind of a person. And then I kind of went back to blonde and I put pink, and he was like, people are not going to take you serious. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, if someone doesn't want to work with me because I put pink in my hair, then I don't want to work with them either. Why do I want to have these types of people as clients that are just like completely like unrealistic and judgmental? They sound terrible. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Kath. Like, I had no desire to deal with people who were going to be like mean, right? Like judgmental. And so I constantly felt like I had to fight to have a seat at the table. Like, because I was often the youngest by a lot, like it was always a lot of old white men, not all old white men, some young white men. The company that we work, that bought, that we, whatever, the umbrella that we were under, the man, Michael Lee Chin, he's Jamaican. I love that guy. But I don't do investments anymore. Anyway, all of that to say, I felt like, and I know people assumed that I was a receptionist or a secretary of sorts. I was there because the old white man I was working for clearly was like at a golf game and he could not be bothered to come to these meetings. So it was assumed that my job was to go and like make notes to deliver to him. And anytime there were other women, they were a little bit older than me, which is fine. It's not a problem there. But they were secretaries and receptionists. They were there to take notes because the old white dude that they were working for couldn't be bothered and wanted to go play golf or do whatever the fuck he was doing. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so annoying. Like, I constantly had to prove myself. They would ask me the most fucking stupid questions about investments and about myself and who's taking care of your kids and do you have kids and what does your husband think? And it was just like, fuck you guys. And so while I started business coaching, I was still doing investments. Like, I only got out of investments like last year after I did 100K as a business coach. I was like, okay, don't need to do investments anymore. I got this. But in doing that, like every meeting, proving myself, every time I would have to meet with a new client, like I would just like mentally prepare myself to be put through the ringer, knowing that if my dad was there, they would just talk to him. Sometimes we would like go together to meet people and they like wouldn't even talk to me. And I was just like, women are faced with so much bullshit. Like, I had a super successful business, which I think more than qualifies me to be a business coach, but my passion is helping women in business to make a lot of fucking money and turn the tables and be like, okay, you know what? I don't need to prove myself to men. I can make a lot of money. I can have babies on my hip if I have to, if I want to. I can stay home. I can be on my phone. I can be on my laptop. I can be present with my kids. I don't have to worry about if my kid is sick. Am I going to get in trouble because I have to leave work? What the fuck is that? Especially with like COVID, so many people are like, okay, well, I lost my job because my kid's school is closed. Like, what? Like trying to take vacation time and being told no. Like, I can't. And so I was just like, you know what? Business coaching is where I want to be. Business coaching is where I belong. And so that's, that's kind of why I am here today doing what I do, because I'm passionate about women making a lot of fucking money and having different lives than they are being told that they should have. And what society is really pushing on us as women, as moms, to like show up and do certain things. And I talk often about like hiring Kelsey. She is my house manager. my husband and I, he's super duper supportive. Like, he is so fucking supportive. When I was investing and we were fucking broke, he was very much like, it's okay. I know we're broke. We're going to live on credit cards for a while you do this. I'm not going to tell you no because I believe in you. I know you're going to make it back someday. And I was like, wow, thank you so much for that amazing support. Like, I love you. But because I work from home and have the kids here, and he works like 12, 13-hour shifts outside of the home, we went through, before I hired Kelsey, we went through like our problems where he was like, you need to do more laundry, you need to clean more, you need to do the dishes more, you need to vacuum more, you need to cook more meals, you need to, and I was like, I know you think that I have all this time, but I'm raising 3 children and I'm running a multiple 6-figure business. If I left the house to do my work, like, I would be gone. And like, sure, I can't sit here and say that I work all day, because I don't. But working is always accessible to me. So like, when I'm done making my kids lunch and they're all sitting and having their little lunch, I start working. I bring up my phone, I'm checking my messages, I'm writing content, I'm engaging with people, I'm answering my DMs, like whatever. So no, I'm not sitting there for hours working on my phone, but consistently throughout the day, I'm on my phone. That's my job. And so we had fights about what was expected of me and what he felt was expected of him. And like, it came down to, at the end of the day, I don't want to do laundry. I don't want to do the dishes. I often don't want to cook. Like, I want to relax just like you. I want to snuggle with the kids and watch a movie. I want to hang out with you and talk about our day. I don't want to immediately turn around and do more work, but housework. Like, I've done enough raising our children and running my business. And so finally we hired Kelsey, and honestly, it's changed my entire life because she does all the shit that I don't want to do and all the stuff that I find I don't have time to do. So like, she posts, I had a like play set for the kids that I was going to sell, and like, she posted it on Facebook for me, so I didn't have to deal with answering the messages. That was amazing. She does the laundry, she folds the laundry, she puts the kids' laundry away, she changes the kids' beds. If I've run a load of dishes on the day she's here, she unloads our dishwasher and puts the dishes away. Fridays, we get good food boxes. She brings them in when she comes in to start her shift here, puts all the groceries away, sets up the little recipe cards in the corner for me. Like, she does. We have a huge toy room that's like full of shit. We don't even know what's in there anymore, and the kids hardly ever go in there. So I'm like, can you organize that and tell me what's in there so we can figure out what we want to keep and what we want to sell? Like, she does all kinds of things. She has babysat my kids multiple times. Like, she is a catch-all for all the things that I don't feel like are priorities. And so if you're listening to me yammer on right now as a woman who's running a business, or a man who's running a business from home, and your partner works outside of the home, and you have small children, and you're trying to run your business, there's no shame in not doing all the house shit. Like, I'm just going to tell you, like, there should not be any pressure. There should not be any guilt. There should not be any shame that you're not doing the house shit, because who the fuck has time? Like, we are living in impossible standards where, like, my mother-in-law, her house is fucking spotless. And my husband's always like, our house was always like that growing up. Our house was always spotless. Cool. She didn't work. I love her. But like, a lot of us, our moms did not work. Our moms stayed at home. Tony says yes, 100%. Thank you. Our moms did not work. They didn't have to. Our dads worked and our moms were stay-at-home moms. My mom was the same. She stayed home, she cooked, she cleaned, she baked a lot, had a lot of cookies and brownies and squares and pies and things growing up. And so we have this whole concept that we have to work because it's impossible to only have one income for most people, which is what we're working towards, right? Having it so that we can retire or we can retire our spouses and we have more freedom. But like, who has the time to do all this cooking and cleaning and sewing and knitting and crocheting and baking and being on school committees? Like the last 3 years my kids have been in school since my oldest started. I very much want to be on like the parent teacher committee. I cannot. Like, it is too impossible. The timing changes every month. I have a business to run. I can't just change the time. I have clients that I work with. Every week we meet at the same time. So if you're going to be wishy-washy with the time, I can't pull that off. So I've never been able to do it. Maybe someday. But right now, that just doesn't work for me. And so hire that shit out. If you can afford it, hire that shit out like I did. And honestly, it's done so much for my mental health having Kelsey help, because all of that pressure to do all that shit that I just didn't feel like and don't have time to and don't enjoy doing when I want to be with my kids instead of working, when I want to be with my husband when I'm not working, and seeing like baskets of laundry just like growing. Like at one point, my kids were literally, like, full transparency, we were just like living out of the laundry baskets. Like, I would wash them, I would dry them, sometimes I would fold them, sometimes I wouldn't fold them, and then the kids, like, they don't care. If I fold their clothes and put them in the drawers, within like an hour, they have tried to find a t-shirt at the bottom and just like flipped everything up crazy. So I was like, whatever, just fucking live out of these baskets, who cares? Like, but that was stressful for me. Yes, and you're supporting her by giving her the work, which is part of your mission. Absolutely, and I pay Kelsey really well. I pay her $20 an hour. Minimum wage here is $11.75. Like, I pay her more than her job, like her actual job that she works 5-6 days a week at. I pay her more. And I'm happy to do that because she makes it so I don't feel crazy. Like, it is worth $20 an hour for my mental health. I think I pay her about $800 a month, and it is well worth it. She comes twice a week, and she just tracks her hours. I'm not a micromanager. She has this little app on her phone. I have no idea what it's called. She just sends me a screenshot. She inputs her pay, and as soon as she gets here, she like presses a button, and it starts tracking her time. And as soon as she walks out the door, she clicks it again, and then it like logs her hours. And then she sends me a screenshot every other week. And it tells me, which I love, it tells me at the top how much I owe her. So I'm like, fantastic. This is wonderful. Thank you. But I don't micromanage her. I'm not like, do this, do that. Like, she knows what I want. Like, okay, do some laundry Fridays today. She changed the kids' beds for me. That's wonderful. But I'm not like, you have to be here at this time. You have to leave at that time. I'm just like, if you stay late, cool, just let me know. If you like leave early, I think we said 10 hours a week. So she comes pretty much 5 hours Monday, 5 hours Friday. I'm just like, if you leave early because you're done, awesome. If you decide you want to stay late, awesome. When she got her second COVID vaccine, it made her super sick, and we were going out of town. So on the Friday, she's like, I'm not well. She was here. She stayed for like an hour and then left. She knew I was going out of town and was like, do you mind if I just come back tomorrow when you guys aren't here and finish cleaning? Sure. So Saturday she came. We were not here. She came. She cleaned. She tracked her own hours. She left and locked the door when she was done. Like, it was amazing. And like, whatever. I just trust her to do whatever I want her to do. And I'm not, hey, Chrissy, I'm not worried about following her around and making sure she's doing what she's supposed to do, or making sure she's not like lying about her hours. I just trust her, and I don't want to micromanage her. Okay, so let's go on to the questions. So please drop questions in the comments. That was just like a whole ramble. Amina sent me a DM with a question, and she was talking about launching. She was asking me about my first launch, and how you stay positive during a launch. And I really love this question because I'm in a launch right now for the 500K Club. Applications close tonight, so if you have not applied yet, go to brittanybudd.com/500K Club and apply right now. This is for you if you already have a business and you are wanting to make more money in your business, really focusing in on who you're speaking to, really refining your unique message, and making a lot more money in your business while working less. So we're going to be talking about creating a $500,000 map, a blueprint for you. It's completely customized and tailored to you that will get you to $500,000 in 3 years. This is geared as a multi-year mentorship. So yes, it's in 6-month chunks, but the goal is that we create this blueprint for you that's going to make $500,000 in 3 years, and then we stick out together for 3 years. And so we're going to be talking about putting in systems, certain strategies about, how do I pivot to a one-to-many offer and sell it and scale it and have people come to me to work with me, so I'm not selling in the DMs, I'm not booking sales calls anymore. I can really scale back on how much I'm working, but really scale up how much money I'm making. And so this is, like I said, it's a 6-month container. It is very high level. It is very high level access to me. This is a room that you definitely want to be in. And I'm noticing a lot of people are suddenly starting to click. They're clicking the 500K Club, and then they're going onto my website and clicking on my one-on-one link. And that is so fun and so cool. However, I'm not doing one-on-one anymore. But the reason that I'm not doing one-on-one anymore is because, in my opinion, having gone through what I'm going through in my current business, I feel like a mastermind is the most advanced container that you can be in. And the reason is because when you are with a collective of people who have the same hopes, dreams, goals, aspirations, ambition that you do, you are scientifically that is the best container for growth. Because when one person starts growing their business, as a whole, the group also starts to level up. They start to elevate. The encouragement, the inspiration is completely different. When I am coaching one-on-one, it's so different because you don't know what you don't know. And I don't know what you don't know because you didn't tell me. But if you don't know what you don't know, we're both just kind of assuming you know, right? And that's fine. But when you are in a high-level container and you're just sitting back and letting someone else be coached, not that you should just sit back and let other people be coached. You definitely show up and ask questions and make the most of it. But when you're sitting back and listening to someone else get coached, your walls are down, you're very comfortable, you're just listening, it's very authentic to you, and you will be exposed to new concepts, new ideas, new inspiration that you will have never been exposed to before had you not been in that room. And so that's why I have created this, and I think that it is the most high level place to be for scaling, for massive growth, for massive traction. No one gets left behind. It's not oh, what's wrong with me? Oh, what am I doing wrong? No, there's a lot of other people who are going through the same things that you are going through. And as a whole, you are learning and growing together. You will be supported in completely different ways. And again, exposed to new ideas and new inspirations that maybe you hadn't thought of before that could take your business on a fast track trajectory to $500,000 in 2 years instead of 3, or $1 million in 3 years instead of $500,000. You have no idea. And so that's why a mastermind, a high level mastermind like this is so, so important for your growth. It's like the saying, you're most like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you were constantly surrounded by people who are like you and people who are after the same things as you and people who are inspiring to you, you would, by default, become more like them. And so, like I said, if you already have a business, you know what your business is. You don't have to be making a ton of money. You can have like 1 or 2 sales and it's fine. I'm going to help you. But we are going to create something tangible that you can now follow to create a multiple 6-figure and even a 7-figure business that's going to be so simple. A lot of people, and even I thought this, I thought I am scared to scale. I'm scared to hire someone and delegate. I'm doing everything myself, and guess what? I'm the best. So no one is going to do it as good as I can. And thank you, Tony. He says, I love this and I love you. I gotta go, but this program sounds absolutely fabulous and people will be nuts not to apply. Heart, heart, heart. Thank you, Tony. Love you back. I appreciate the support. Now I forget what I was saying. Oh, I felt like no one could do my business better than me, right? And I thought, I'm selling one-on-one. Do I just keep increasing the price of my one-on-one until it's like $100,000 for 6 months? No one's going to pay that. Although people do pay that, just saying. I was like, no one's going to pay me that. It's not sustainable. I don't want to work like 4 nights a week for hours. I don't want to do this anymore. I love it, but I want to help more people. And my demand got so out of control. Like right now, I can't take a new one-on-one client till February. That's not amazing for the people that want to work with me. And so I thought, I'm going to have to take on more people. I'm going to have to try to find more hours. What am I going to do? How late am I going to have to stay up every night? Am I going to have to start doing the weekends? And it felt very like constrictive, like not at all expansive. Like I felt like I was being crushed by the weight of my own goals and the weight of my own business. And so it was like, do I just stay at like 100 or do I actually go after what I want, which is, someday I want to have millions of dollars a year in revenue. The trajectory plan is 2 years from now, like my 2023 will be $1 million year. That's what I'm working towards. And so I thought, what am I going to do here? What do I do? And I was working with my coach one-on-one and she was just like, I'm not doing one-on-one anymore. And she gave me a huge refund and I did a whole live about it before. And she was like, here's why, like we're going into a mastermind. And I felt this is the next step for me. I'm so glad she's doing this because I felt like meeting with her one-on-one, I just didn't need that much support from her anymore. I really needed to be around other people and to be inspired by them and to grow with them. And so scaling your business can feel very constrictive. It can feel like, oh my goodness, no one can do this as good as me. No one knows how to write content like me or send emails like me or make graphics like me. No one. I'm the only one. And that's like rough, right? Like that's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. But here's the thing. Scaling can be so simple and so easy, and making more money gets to be really light and really fun. And so in this program, we're going to talk about how to delegate so that you can work less. Like I work way less, but it looks like I'm a lot of places. Like my email list gets emails regularly. My Instagram is bumping over there. My Facebook, like I'm still Facebook, that's still me, but like everywhere else, it's not. It's other people. It's Katie. Katie is my VA OBM. She's amazing. And so, but I'm also making way more money. Like I've already made over 200,000 so far this year when I only made 100 last year. And so I have made it simple for myself, and being in a mastermind, I'm making it really simple for you. And it doesn't have to feel constrictive and tight. It gets to feel really expansive and really light, and it gets to be fun, and you get to just have way more money coming in without like burning everything to the ground, without starting fresh, without doing like a huge upheaval. It's just about small pivots that feel aligned to you that are going to blow it up. And so on the 2-day event, we're going to make that 3-year blueprint. We're going to We're going to do exercises to get connected to your higher self. We're going to do like guided meditation to connect to your like future version of yourself. We're going to do limiting belief releasing ceremonies. So it's very like mindset heavy. We're also going to do like this insane emotional mind mapping exercise. We're going to do a very cool manifestation exercise. It's been a long time since that's been seen. And we're going to also spend some time, like, not just on the mindset stuff, but on the actual, like, strategy and systems. So the 2 days, one's going to be heavy mindset. The next day is going to be systems, strategies, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Like, I've created multiple courses and sold them. So we're going to talk about course creation. We're going to talk about webinars. We're going to talk about high-level selling. And everything that I give you is like I feel like Bob the Builder. Like, I'm giving you all of the tools to build a sustainable, scalable, profitable, thriving, amazing, smart business. And you are going to craft it the way you want it to look. And so it's very customized mentorship and it's super fun. And so Amin is asking me, how do I stay positive during a launch? And I'm going to tell you, you can't stay positive through a launch. You can't stay positive 24/7 ever. That is not realistic. And like, we feel emotions. No one can be high vibe. I think high vibe is the most toxic shit I've ever been exposed to. I used to really buy into it. Like high vibe tribe and all that bullshit. And now I'm like, that is so fucking toxic. Like, no, you don't have to be high vibe all the time. You can just exist and it's okay too. You can be sad and that's okay. You can be mad. You can be frustrated. You can be grieving. It doesn't matter. But the best energy, and I say this to you guys all the time, the best energy, whether you're in a launch or you're selling a program or you're selling a webinar or you're selling one-on-one, the best energy is neutral. Like, not really attached to the outcome, but also like devoted to creating the goal. So like, having a goal is the most important. But then what am I going to do about it? And when it feels like it's not going my way, how am I going to address it? What am I going to do about that? How am I going to stay dedicated to what I want without burning myself out, without driving myself into the ground, without making myself feel crazy? And so when you're selling your stuff, like, managing your thinking is so important, because whatever you're selling, you know, that's your circumstance. But the way you think and feel determines how you show up and what your results are going to be. So, you know, your circumstances, you're launching your thing, maybe like the intentional, unintentional model. The intentional model, you know, you want your results to be like mine right now. 10 people will be accepted into 500K club. Maybe a couple of more if the most amazing people in the world apply. But like 10 is what I really want for this container. I want very intimate, very high level. And so like, I'm getting 10 people into this, and maybe you're going to be one of them. If you haven't applied yet, go do that. But in the intentional model, you know, your result is 10 people in this launch. So what do my thoughts need to be? How do I need to feel? And how am I going to show up to make sure that I create that result? So if you're thinking things like, and this would be the unintentional thought model, your circumstances, you're launching your thing, your result is out of your control because you're not being intentional with what's going on, your thoughts are going to be shit. Like, straight up, we cannot help ourselves. Our brains, for whatever reason, maybe we can blame our parents, I don't know. Blame your grandparents, blame your teachers, blame your friends. They're kind of assholes when you're kids, right? We're totally dealing that with our kids. Some kids just are assholes. But our thoughts default to everything fucking sucks. You're the worst. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to buy this. you're not good enough for this, you don't know what you're doing, like, why would anybody sign up for this class or buy this course or apply for your mastermind? And when you think all of that stuff, how are you gonna feel? Like a bag of flaming garbage, right? Like, you're gonna feel terrible. You're gonna feel depressed and you're gonna feel frustrated and what's wrong with me? And if you think and feel like that, how the fuck are you gonna show up terribly? Desperate, graspy, needy. Maybe you don't show up at all and you just like curl up in your bed and watch Netflix and like watch Ted Lasso. I love Ted Lasso. I can't watch it tonight because John's not here. He's at work. But we're totally watching, and I'm very upset about last week's episode with Nate being so mean to the new assistant guy. Anyway, completely off track. If you're allowing your default brain, like the cave person side of your brain, to run the show, it's going to be really, really, really mean to you. And so it's not just, as you just saw, as I very quickly went through this model, it's not just your thinking that creates your results. It's your thinking that creates the way you show up that creates your results. Like, it's thinking, feelings, actions, these all go together to create something. And so if you're going to be intentional, you don't have to stay super positive, woo woo, yeah, high energy. But you do have to think, this is working, this is fine. I know what I'm doing. People do want this. This is good. This is a no-brainer. The people that sign up for this are getting pure gold out of my brain. This is going to impact so many lives. Then how do you feel? You feel good. You feel confident. You feel secure in what you're doing. You feel excited about the possibility and about the future and the opportunities. You feel excited for the people that sign up and that are going to join you, and you feel excited about watching their journey unfold. You guys hear me say this all the time. One of the biggest joys for me as a business coach, it's not my own bank account. It's the fact that there are people out there, and this makes me get emotional every time. It's the fact that there are people out there that see me and want me to be behind the scenes and witness maybe a very small part, maybe a large part of their journey. Like, I get to hang out in behind the nitty gritty, the building, the baby phase of their business, the growth. Like, it's just like having a kid. I get to hang out and help them create that. And no one really even knows. Like, their own audience has no idea that I've been sitting back there helping. I get to witness the magic that unfolds for my clients. I get to hang out and see them make something and see the whole thing just be born and transform and grow and keep growing, and the lives that these women that I work with are impacting. I think that's the biggest honor in the whole world. Like, I'm blown away by the people that allow me that gift. And now I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh, so when you're thinking about your thoughts and feelings, like, if you show up in that energy of, wow, I'm getting a gift when they apply to work with me. And it's not the gift of money. We just exchange that for my knowledge. It's the gift of witnessing something so amazing that's going to change the world, so amazing that changes their lives. You know, maybe it's just like putting their kid in dance for the first time, or being able to buy their kid new shoes for the first time, or going on their first vacation, or going on their dream vacation, or renewing their vows, or whatever it is for them. I get to see that from an idea turn into reality. And if you can show up in that type of energy, then, you know, the way you show up, it's not needy and graspy and weird and desperate. It's love, it's service, it's gratitude, it's confident, it's secure, like I said. And guess what? When you can show up like that, Yeah, you fucking create your own results. Like, you did it. Congratulations. What time are we at? I talked a lot. 8:45. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions before we end for this evening? I feel like I just did so much coaching and talking, but that's okay. No? No one? Okay. So applications are about to close. If you have not applied, and I can see that you guys are clicking the link. Like, there have been hundreds of clicks on the sales page, hundreds of clicks on the apply now button to open it into the application form, and hundreds of people are not flooding in. And that tells me that you are talking yourself out of it. You are disqualifying yourself, so you think I won't have to. You're telling yourself that it's not meant for you. You're telling yourself that you don't belong. One of the girls that I just accepted, Jessie, she was like, tell me I belong. Can you just say the words that I belong in that room? And I was like, Jessie, you belong in this room. Like, if you didn't belong in this room, you wouldn't be here. But you belong, and there's really no good reason for someone to not be accepted. Like, if you have the drive and the gumption and the resourcefulness to apply, then there's likely not a good reason that you wouldn't be accepted. Like, I see that drive, I see that determination, and that's the type of people that I want there. Like, of course I want people who are driven and determined. I want people who are afraid, but more afraid of staying where they are, right? Because we're all afraid. I was afraid. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. There's no shame and fear. But if you're disqualifying yourself and you're telling yourself, oh, maybe next time, or oh, I don't belong, or oh, she's not going to pick me, I really want to encourage you here that all of that is just storytelling. And as you're clicking the link to work with me one-on-one, thinking, oh, well, I want her all to myself. Or if I work with her one-on-one, I get more of her. Or she's more of a resource to me. These thoughts are not serving you right now in your life or in your business. This container is the most magical place for you to be. And in fact, I would argue that being there is even more resourceful. You get even more of me because you can actually get coaching from me every single day if you want to get coaching from me every single day. And there are more resources because there are more people who are in different stages and different businesses than you are to give you that insight that you wouldn't have otherwise. And so if you've really talked yourself out of it, and I know because I'm already getting the messages that you're gonna have FOMO over missing it, please DM me right now. I will have my phone with me most of the evening. Like I said, my husband's working night shift, so I'm gonna I might start watching clickbait. I'm not sure. I'm a little scared. I will have my phone. I will be answering messages. Also, I've opened, and I will fix this later to open up even more, I've added a question to the application form that says, if you would like to speak to Brittany one-on-one about your application and your decision to apply, please click here, and it's a little checkbox. And so if you click it, it's the very last question, and then submit your application, it automatically redirects you to my calendar. And so I am opening up more availability than what's currently there for next week so that I can talk to you, because we get in our own way. We are our own worst enemy. And by talking yourself out of this, by telling yourself that you don't belong, you are blocking yourself from creating something now. There's no good reason to not apply now and not start making money now, because in 6 months, your entire life could look way different. Like in the last 6 months, oh goodness, I don't know, what are we? We're 9 months, so I don't know. I've probably made $170,000 cash in the last 6 months. Like, that's insane to me. So much can happen in 6 months. So much can happen in 30 days. But your life could look completely different based on a decision that you make right now. And I talk about this before. I've done a podcast episode on it too. The circumstances of your life right now are a culmination of decisions that you made 6 months ago. Like, the choices you made 6 months ago is the reason that what's happening. Not all circumstances, but it's the reason that you are where you are right now. And so the choice that you make right now will put you on a completely different path, potentially, than where you could be 6 months from now. You could be sitting with a very successful business, or you could not. I don't know. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know that if you've been clicking the link, there's a reason for that. And I want to encourage you to talk to me about it, because taking inspired action, taking a leap of faith, jumping and then building the plane on the way down, like, those actions are always rewarded. Because when you jump into something like this and you make an investment at this level, it really forces you to, like, step up. Like, it forces you to level up, because it's not something to take lightly. It's not something that you would invest in and then not show up like you do with those like $40, $50, $100 things that you completely forget about. This is different. This forces you to step up differently because it's uncomfortable, right? And uncomfortable spaces is where we grow the most. And so you can shrink away from the discomfort, or you can rise to the occasion of the discomfort and turn it into something amazing. And I think that when we rise up, instead of shrinking away and not doing it, when we rise up, so much magic can happen. So much growth can happen, because it not only impacts you in that you're uncomfortable, but it also, like, up levels your self-concept. Because now you're thinking of yourself as, holy fuck, I am a CEO who invests 5 figures into her business. I'm a CEO that invests 5 figures into her growth. I'm a CEO that gets shit done. I am a CEO that is going to make $500,000 in 3 years. And it boosts your confidence to trust yourself like that. And so, like I said, please DM me, email me. Like I said, I'm going to open up more hours for next week. Go and apply and get yourself booked to talk to me one-on-one if you're still hesitant, and let me put your worries to bed, because I'm going to be the only one that can do that for you. Unless you can do it for yourself, listening to me here, your cave person brain is going to talk you out of it. And you weren't meant for that. You were meant for more. You were meant for the dreams that you have in your heart, and you deserve them. And booking a call with me or DMing me is asking me to fight for your dreams for you, because that cave person brain is being pretty fucking mean. And I am happy to speak on behalf of your dreams for you and remind you who the fuck you are. You're badass and you belong in this room. So go apply, BrittanyBudd.com/500K club. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to chatting with you. I look forward to having you in the container. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you all later. Mwah!